set a apple crush block and put a SD card in the game cam that we got out where I'm going to be hunting this weekend coming up, next weekend. Today's Sunday. It's like November 3rd, I think. And then we're going to have general rifle, modern firearms. Deer season starts up next weekend on the 9th. So I've got a spot to hunt on some friends' property. So I set up my blind yesterday, and I'm gonna head out Saturday morning out there and hopefully get a deer. We saw a deer right after we set up the blind. We were just standing out in front of the blind talking, and this doe come walking up about 50-60 yards away from us. So I didn't bring my laser rangefinder with me when we set up the blind. I forgot it, so I'm gonna go ahead, and I got it with me now, so I'll go ahead and set that up or range a couple of spots and stuff. I'll bring it with me to that morning too, but I'll go ahead and range a couple spots from the blind, so I've got an idea of what distance I'm going to be shooting. I got the rifle zeroed at 50 yards, and so I'm confident in the zero on it, and anywhere from basically point blank out to about 60 yards, 70 yards, I'm totally comfortable with. I don't have a range right now where I can shoot it further than that, but it's about the limit of what I plan on taking shots, and about as far as I'm going to be able to take shots from this blind. So hopefully I get a deer or two on this weekend coming up. There's a pretty good sized buck that my friend has seen out there by his place, and I might get a chance at it. We'll see. But first things first is putting some meat in the freezer. So if I get a shot at a doe, I'll take it next Saturday, and we'll see what we see out there when I go drop this block off and put the card in the camera. We'll pull the card out Wednesday or Thursday maybe for morning, and then check it out at the warehouse. I'll probably see if Larry will go pull it and bring it in, and on his way in to work, and then we'll check it and see what the camera picked up. But like I said, I mean, really just want to go ahead and get a deer or two down with the PileDriver. So like I said, it's zeroed at 50 yards. It'll do the job. We're pushing around 600 foot-pounds of energy, so plenty of energy shooting 350 grain Nielsen specialty ammo slugs. Those hollow points, they'll definitely put a deer down, any deer we got around here, and pretty much any deer in the country. Not a problem. I might want a little bit heavier slug for an elk or something like that, but we'll see. Let's get out here to the property and drop this block off and put a card in that trail cam and see what we can
so
see.
This is the spot where I'm going to be hunting next weekend. We'll go ahead and get down here to the blind, and we'll get a couple of ranges and then set up this block and put the SD card in the trail cam. See if we can't see what's coming around here. So there's one right there. Here's the blind. And just saw that deer right there. So, deer was right up there.
So, second day of season, went out, got out in the blind before first light. Was sitting there for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and sun had come up. Didn't really see anything, just some squirrels running around and stuff. And right at 7:30, that feeder kicked off, and it was like a dinner bell. This doe and this button buck come running in, as you can see in the video. They just ran in and came around, and that doe gave me a pretty good shot. It was quartering towards me, but I was confident in the PileDriver. The 45 PileDriver, you know, you're pushing 600 foot-pounds of energy with a 350 grain hollow point slug. I knew it could take her down.
Oh, smacked the doe. I know I hit her hard. She freaking flipped and just rolled over on the ground. Alright. She ran down almost the same direction as that buck did yesterday, though. But I mean, it hit her hard. She flipped over. That feeder went off and it was like a dinner bell. They went running for it.
There was much question whether or not I got a good hit on her. And then, so I sat there in the blind and I decided, you know, I'm just going to go ahead, let her be, and not try to push her or anything, just in case.
I didn't get my other camera turned on, but yeah, I wasn't sure if that camera was still on. I didn't get my other camera turned on, but that's okay. I wanted to make sure I at least got one.
So as I'm sitting there in the blind, and it was like 2 minutes and 10 seconds later, that button buck comes back in.
One toe down with the PileDriver. Yeah, I hope I got it on the Tacticam. Here comes another one. Two. That second one didn't react quite like the first one did, but dang. All right. Yes. Hatsan PileDriver, Nielsen specialty ammo, 250 grain hollow points, boat tail. Those were good solid hits. So that first one though, it just flipped. All right. It is 8:37 or 7:37. I mean 7:37 a.m. I am going to go ahead and give them a little while. I don't want to push them just in case. I'm going to go ahead and text Larry and let him know that I just shot 2 does. Yes. that feeder went off, it was like a dinner bell. They just come running in. I mean, literally running in when that feeder went off. That was awesome. All right, so we got 2 does down. We're gonna go track them. We found where the blood starts. So we're just gonna pick up from where we last saw it. We're gonna follow them in. We gave them about 45 minutes just to be sure. Didn't want to push them because it's really thick in here, but we think we know where they went. So. All right, so right in here is where we followed the blood to. See, we've got some right here, bleeding pretty good, right down in through here. So they must have gone up in these trees here. All right, so right in here is where we followed the blood to. See, we've got some right here, bleeding pretty good, right down in through here. So they must have gone up in these trees here. See, there's some more blood. These red leaves do make it hard to track, that's for sure. So yeah, there we go. There's some right in through here. There we go, there's some right there. Looks like a big old chunk of lung right there. So they ran up in here somewhere running for cover. Oh, more blood right here. And some more tissue. You can see the tracks. Looks like they ran right up into there. Let's see. Here's some more tracks right here. Ah, there we go, blood. More blood. They're bleeding good. Had to have come through here somewhere. Oh, there we go. There's some more blood there. Oh yeah. See, we got some more blood right here. Bleeding really good right up through here. Right there. Right there. There's the second one that I shot. Now we just got to figure out where the first one went. Right there. They just followed each other up in here. That's a nice big old doe right there. Make sure she's definitely dead before I get too close to her. All right. Now we just got to get them out of here.
All right, so 2 does, well, a doe and a button buck. This button buck came in right after I shot the doe, and I had the shot, so I went ahead and took it, and that's meat in the freezer, that's for sure. Hatsan PileDriver, 45 cal, definitely did the job. I got the video from the Tacticam. I mean, you saw that doe, she just did a total backflip when it hit her. Kind of hit her in the chest right here, and hit the lungs and the heart, I think. Well, maybe not the heart, she didn't just drop. She ran probably about 60-70 yards, and the button buck there, I hit him in the shoulder, right behind the shoulder, and it came out on the left side, kind of at the back of the ribs. So it came all the way out, went all the way through him. He did the mule kick and ran off, but yeah, the Hatsan PileDriver definitely is deer hunting capable, no doubt about it. My shots were about 60 yards, so between 50 and 60 yards. From the blind to the feeder was 54 yards, and so the shot I got on her was about 54 yards, right in there, and then about 60 yards on the button buck there. But definite power, multi-shot. You're gonna get 5 shots at over 400 foot-pounds of energy, and that 6th one is just barely under 400 foot-pounds. So Hatsan PileDriver just lays them out. Now I added the Donnie FL Emperor moderator on this one, and I kind of credit that to being able to get the shot on the second one, because it came right back in after I shot this one. Kept the noise level down so that it was able to, you know, that didn't totally scare it off. Hatsan PileDriver, 45 cal, gonna be in 50 cal. We're looking at 800, at least 800 foot-pounds of energy out of the 50 cal. You're looking at about 700 out of the 45, and these will be available next year. People have been asking for a serious big game hunting rifle from Hatsan, and we're delivering. We listen to our customers, and here you go. So this is a 4,500 PSI fill, so you're going to need a compressor. The Hatsan Spark or the Lightning will do it. You get a Spark, you can top it off out in the field, but like I said, 5 shots at over 400 foot-pounds of energy will put a deer down. So you're not just a one-shot wonder. So definitely going to do some more hunting with this.
Didn't hunt that next weekend. I went out there, I changed out the card, and I actually went out and looked for that other buck again. But I gave him about 2 weeks, 2 weeks exactly actually, and went out skipped the weekend, went out, and I went out on Saturday morning. I saw a spike as I was driving in before sunup, and about maybe a mile away from where I was hunting. And I went down to the blind, got all set up, went up, switched the camera to video from just photos, and I had swapped out to a Browning trail camera because the Tasca one that I was using before, we got some really bad weather over those 2 weeks, and it froze and rained, freezing rain and sleet, and somehow moisture got inside that camera and it stopped working. So I went ahead and purchased a new camera, put it out there, and actually I'm pretty pleased with that camera. It was under $200, and it's doing pretty good for us so far. But what I did was I sat there and I hunted from, sun up until about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then it was, I think the high to that point was 32 degrees. So I was getting pretty cold, and I decided I'd go ahead, go home, and check the card from that camera, see what had came in the couple of nights before, the couple of days before. Went home, did that, got back out to the blind at 2:30 in the afternoon. Set up, sit there waiting and stuff. Didn't see anything except for just a bunch of squirrels running around. So definitely going to take a 22 PCP out there with me to pop some squirrels. End of shooting light was 5:31 in the afternoon. At 5:15, I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm watching the squirrels run around the trees and the feeder and stuff. And I'm sitting there and I looked away, I looked back, and I thought I saw another squirrel. Well, I looked a little bit closer. No, that was a deer's ear.
All right, just before the end of shooting light, and had Spike come walking in, and he's down. He's down. Yeah. Okay. All right. He ran straight back into that bedding area, and I saw him drop. But I'm going to go ahead and give him a little bit before I go to get him. But, whew, yes.
So, and when I shot the spike, as you can see in the camera footage from the trail cam, he ran forward just a little bit, spun, made a U-turn, and then headed back into the bedding area where he came from. And right from where he left the camera, he went maybe 10 feet more, maybe 15 feet more from where you see him on leaving the camera view, and he just dropped right there. As I was sitting there, you know, I took the shot, heard the impact, saw him wheel around, and he went behind the tree. So as you can see from the Tacticam, I really didn't have a very good view of him. I thought that he had kept going, and then I saw him just walk off and then heard him crash. And you could see in the trail cam video, he hooked around and then he stopped because he was hurting really bad and bleeding out really fast. And then he just kind of limped off another 10 feet, 15 feet, and then just dropped right there. There wasn't a big, you know, tracking job or anything with him. Just, I went ahead and waited for about 45 minutes, even though I heard him crash. I didn't want to, you know, in case he hadn't expired, I didn't want to push him off and have to go chase him through the woods. But he was right there. He was done in not even 30 seconds. He was done. So got him all field dressed, skinned out, let him hang for a couple days, took him to the processor, and should have him back in a few days, and more meat in the freezer.